This is Valley of Tears from MMP Games. It's part of the Battalion combat series. We're looking at the situation at the end of day 16 on the Golan and Sinai fronts. The current score on the Golan is 10 points all. So that effectively means if that continued, neither side would win this game. Now, at one particular point, because you've got to win both fronts to get a win. Now, the 210th Division succeeded in capturing this hex here to give us a victory point. And the Israelis were thinking, well, that's it, we won 11-10. The Syrians are never going to be able to do anything about that. Well, it didn't work out like that, did it? What happened was the Assad armoured brigade here actually counterattacked and recaptured a victory point hex here, drawing the game. Now, that was quite a surprise to the Israelis, but the Israelis they're really stretched in places. What they've been doing, because it's quite a long front, the Golan, or was a long front, we'll get onto that in a minute, they've been bringing in lots of one-step units as reinforcements, using replacement points. Now, they're not going to be doing that anymore. What they'll be doing is bringing in a much smaller number of quality units using their replacements. So they'll probably bring in a couple of two-steppers if they can. Because they're exposed, they've lost quite a lot of units. There's about 4 units were destroyed this turn in battles with the Jordanian division here and with the Assad unit up there. So sort of ground them to a halt a bit, and the Israelis have got, again, look at this terrible fatigue. They're really struggling with fatigue. The 2 divisions in fatigue 4. One of the brigades is fatigue 4 and the other one's fatigue 3. But they're keeping the pressure up, and they've got the Air Force all over the Golan here, trying to give us the knockout blow. Because there's the first ceasefire is starting at the end of this turn, and we're going to actually, as the Israelis, we're going to violate that and keep the game going. So because the front is shortening all the time in length, the Arab forces are beginning to develop a solid front line here, at least a front line that isn't just buckling at first impact. The 6th Armoured here, the Iraqi 6th Armoured, really was badly mauled because it wasn't deployed properly. We're often ending up with our tanks deploying on the mobile side, which leaves them incredibly vulnerable to Israeli attack by Israeli armour. So yet again, they got savaged, but somebody had to fill that gap. They had to in the front line, but subsequently with a good snafu roll, they've got a solid front line there. Israel, you see where these blue hexes, blue cubes are, they're actually hexes where there is a potential Israeli victory point. Actually, so I'll move that one back there so you can see that one. So yeah, again, all in all, it is so close. You just can't call it. Now over onto the Sinai. The Israelis are pushing through to the canal here, but there are not any victory points here in this particular area. Unless you get across the canal, you're not going to achieve anything. So this is a bit of a wasted effort, but the Israelis are grouping over here to take out this Egyptian victory point hex there. They've secured that victory point hex there and are pushing this way, possibly for another breakthrough to the canal, but it's still not going to net them anything, even if they did come through. The best thing they could do is drive the 19th Infantry HQ back over the canal, losing the Egyptians a victory point for that, an end game victory point for that. The Egyptians have shored up the canal defences along the bridges here. They've got the 3rd Tank Brigade and the 3rd, is it 3rd Mechanised? 3rd Mechanised Division, which is a very weak division at this particular stage, deployed along the canal at the bridges where the where the roads to the bridges are. But the Egyptians have buckled a bit with this Israeli offensive driving into their flank here, but it's on a hiding to nothing, as I've said, really, apart from there's a couple of victory points available there, but it's not the best place to be attacking. The main area, the Egyptians have been pushed back. They've not been able to seal this breakthrough at all. The Israelis managed to seize another victory point hex here and cross the canal, which is the 2nd time they've crossed the canal. But this time they got 2 units across, whereas only 1 before, and they managed to hold the crossing, whereas last time they did it they were forced back immediately. The 275th is really having to redeploy over here to try and capture this victory point back. Just a bit of a mess there. This front isn't, they're really not helping here, but they're under quite a lot of pressure from a mechanised division, an armoured division and an infantry division, so they're a bit distracted from the main battle, so that hasn't really moved very much. In terms of this area, the Israelis are opening this salient, and they've also brought in a new division, this Silla division, which is just arriving on the front. But this area is quite rich in victory point hexes. There's one there, there's one over there, there's that one that the Egyptians control. They also control that one, which is vulnerable, so there are quite a few that they could take here. It's the 19th Infantry already forced across the canal. Yes, it is. It's on the wrong side of the canal, so they lost that victory point. So if we look all in all, the situation score-wise is 8-3 to the Egyptians. But as I say, to win this game, you're going to win both fronts, and the other front is drawn at the moment. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the roll for the second ceasefire now. That's so I'll be able to tell you whether this game is going to end next turn. Right, so it's a score of 9, and here we go. We're watching this live on YouTube, and it's a 4, so the game will not end at the end of next turn, so it's still all to play for.